Hey there, guys, all you cats and dogs watching back at home. This might feel like a weirdly disjointed from where we left off last time, and that would be because if you're watching this episode a long time after, the initial release, basically my first recording of episode 2 of this series was actually corrupted. Well, corrupted, I don't know, there was a mistake in editing. The commentary track was completely off from the video, so that was like bad. And I'll own that was my mistake. I'm not sure how I managed to screw that up so badly, but I did. In any case, the obvious solution is I'm going to re-record this part of the game to fix that problem. It leads to a bit of a weird problem, or well, a weird situation really, where, this one episode is not going to be blind because I've recorded all the way up to episode 10. So instead of being a really blind playthrough, this episode is going to be like me having a retrospective on something I played like a month ago. So, but, it's still, I hope you guys will enjoy it. I'll play through all the parts which were in that episode, get to the point where episode 3 carries off, where, again, that should be a fine episode when I originally recorded it.
They're blasting their way in.
The original track, and then that'll be, again, my blind playthrough back when I first played this. My first experiences then. Which, of course, means this episode might be a bit shorter, since I kind of remember all the stuff I was supposed to do. For example, in this part... Oh god, poison gas in here. I need to do something to get out of here quick. Actually, I'm not sure if that is poison gas or not, or she's just coughing because it's a bit dusty in here. But in any case, my first time playing this part, I was a bit confused, like I thought you were supposed to climb that thing. But you'll see there's one of these counterweights that you're able to shoot down, so that's what the game wanted you to do. Just raise the water level by bashing the wall, then shoot down this float here to climb up. Voila! Also, I guess this is a good time to say... I'll just keep on apologizing, because the last episode I made those Syria comments, and I actually recorded that episode before like the whole Syria situation got crazier with the whole chemical attack and the US response. Then on episode 3 I actually recorded like a really long apology, but... Oh! Here's excitement. We go, dealt with that. But we're still not done because we're still trapped underwater. Oh god. And then we get a swimming tutorial here, which... Way to put us in the deep end, so Vaihto is finished for shift, so holding down shift you will be able to swim faster past those gnarly body parts. So originally in episode 3 I had like a really long apology for making light of the Syrian situation, but then I actually went back on like maybe I don't need to be such a formal apology, cause like first of all it's dumb that just because this situation escalated then apparently it's a bad thing, But, yeah, and also I did actually pretty much make it clear in episode 1 that actually it's a bit messed up, the idea of making a game about the Syrian civil war, which, this isn't about that, this is just an adventure, which weirdly is set in Syria, but whatever. But, look, I'll just say, like, yeah, it was a bit dumb of me to even speculate about the subject, it's a bit mean. Sorry to anyone who might be involved in the Syrian conflict.
Stunning. We made it, Dad.
Whoa, that's cool. I didn't see that the first time. You get a cool, like, diving animation when you do that jump. That's cool. So yeah, I was making a bit light about a serious issue, but I won't dwell on that too much. I mean, you have the right to be offended if you're really strongly feel about the Syria situation. It isn't a funny matter, I'll admit that. Right, this is what I talked about the first time too,
Maybe I can raise the water.
and I'll comment on it here as well, because this is our first introduction to the survival instinct, which was in the first game. So basically, pressing down Q, you will focus on the interesting objects in the environment, which is also a pillar of light will show you where to go ahead. This is again an example of what a lot of people might consider hand-holding in a bunch of modern games, you know, a negative thing. I don't really feel it's that bad because I just feel like the option, it's an option, you don't necessarily need to do it. Like, you could have also explored this area and found that wall to bust down without using survival instinct. For example, well, for one, this game's pretty simple. It looks fancy, these areas, but it's quite linear. So, for example, I'm pretty sure I can solve this area without using survival instinct. Well, of course I can, because I did this once, but I mean, even on my first time, I could have done this. It's pretty linear, ultimately, this room, how to advance. But I do need to scratch my head a bit. How did this... Oh, okay, that's fine. We just needed it to raise the water level. It would not rise this high in real life, you know? It would be, like, much slower, but that wouldn't make for a good game to sit around and wait for it to flood up. So yeah, while I understand people who are like, this makes the game too easy for me to have survival instincts, the option is there, you don't have to use it. It's nice for someone who might be like, well, I don't want to speculate, but, you know, someone might be like, might get stuck. I mean, if watching Let's Plays for several years has taught me something, it's that... Wow, okay. Spike trap, I forgot all about that.
Damn, they're almost inside.
Crud, yeah, the Trinity guys are coming in. So, if watching LPs for years has taught me is that the most obvious of situations can be confounding for people at some point, so... Survival instincts for if you're just like, I give up, I gotta figure out what to do. That's nice. I don't think it's a bad idea at all. That's just my take on it. Oh my god! That was insanely brutal. Okay, so, let's try not to have that happen again. Go. Any more stupid traps? I guess we're good for now. And, of course, the reality, of course, is that, like I said, the puzzles in this game are not very difficult at all, if we're perfectly honest. Well, they haven't been so far. Like I said, I'm up to episode 10. Maybe they get really tough. So it's not really like the... It's not really like survival instincts even is that necessary. That's why I don't want to speculate. Like, you know, someone might find some parts difficult. I remember one of the tombs in the first game. I was stuck for a really long time the first time I played it. Right, that's right. So, it didn't work out. That was just like one of the rafts at the beginning of the episode. We had to shoot that down. And I believe we want to do this again. Get ourselves sprayed with water. Blah. Didn't actually... Maybe I should have let myself get launched because I could climb on this raft easier. Okay, well, never mind then. I kind of screwed this up by... jumping off when the water blast came. It would have been easier to climb onto this raft if I'd let myself get launched. Oh, well, never mind. I could just use the wall here to scramble. I guess that's an option, too. Knock these down. And I don't know. No one's ever commented on my videos when I talk about stuff like this hand-holding stuff, like these survival instincts and whatnot. No one's ever commented to argue with me on that. I realize it's not a common position. Most people I find on the internet are of the opinion that games are too easy these days. There might be some truth to that. I'm not even going to deny that. I just feel like a lot of this so-called easiness is pure like optional stuff. So, if I can be blunt for a second, it comes off a bit of like elitism to then be like, well, you don't need help in this part. Admit I'm being a bit of an elitist myself because I'm saying that this game isn't super hard. Of course, I haven't even beaten it yet, so I really should save my tongue. I'm sure I'll get stuck at some point in one of the puzzle caves, but we'll worry about that then. All right, here we go. We found it. We found the Prophet's tomb. That was easy, and I think we beat Trinity here too, so... Nice work.
Found you.
So, what next, then? My god, he really is immortal! He was never buried here! Uh-oh. No, I just noticed those couple of guys there at the front are wearing winter gear, even though we're in Syria. Because they reused the models. Those guys in the back are wearing winter gear too. Gosh, you guys must be sweating hot here in Syria. This guy's super cool. When I first recorded this episode, I was hoping he'd be a recurring enemy. He totally is. His two goons are super cool too. I keep calling them the skulls in the later episodes because they look so much like the skulls from Phantom Pain. Oh, I never noticed that. Dude's been stigmatized. Like, literally.
Carefully.
That's gruesome. I must have noticed the first time. I didn't realize the implication. Dude's got a freaking... He's had a nail go through his hand. Surprise! This is quite a fresh corpse, isn't it?
Who the hell are you?
You're a smart woman. I suspect you already know.
Trinity.
Where is the artifact?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't play games with me. You led us to this place.
Look. It was empty when I got here. There was no body and definitely no artifact.
I mean, he's not a very deep villain, but so far, up to episode 10, he's been an enjoyable recurring villain. I'm glad he didn't die in this scene and a new villain show up. Surprise! Clever girl.
Get down!
Yeah, so first time I was like, huh, that's a really long detonation, but it was a dead man switch that she held down. Oh shit, and we get our first glimpse of, like, combat here. And we're done, because now it's time to get out of here. What do you know? They managed to get bombs on every single structural weak point. Oh no, we need to sprint, because the place is coming down. Oh, there's a guy rappelling there, I just noticed. That's cool. They were all over the place, these Trinity guys. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, wow, I hit that pillar. That would have killed me in real life. Ah, it's fine. I think I died in this part. In my previous recording, for those of you who didn't watch that, but this time I'm gonna get the heck out of here on my first try. Yeah. Actually, was it over at this point? I guess we'll find out. Ooh, there's an awful lot of water here for it to be Syria. Then again, what do I know? I've never been to Syria, and I really don't recommend going there right now. So wait until the situation calms down before you travel to check out what the water situation is in Syria. Why, that looks like a Templar logo, which, amusingly, also features in Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars, where you also go to Syria, so I don't know what the deal is. Well, I guess the Templars hung out near Jerusalem, the Knights Templar, so I guess that's why it keeps propping up in Syria. I mean, Jerusalem is obviously in Israel, but it's like nearby Syria, anyway.
Jonah!
Lara,
There's so much I need to tell you. I don't...
did you find the Prophet's tomb?
Yes, but I was followed.
Also, there was nothing there. Yeah.
They call themselves Trinity. They tried to kill me.
What the hell is going on here? You're starting to scare me.
The tomb was empty, but I think they were looking for the divine source.
The artifact your father was after?
There's more. I found this symbol in a tomb. I knew I'd seen it before. It was driving me insane. That's when it hit me. I saw it here, in one of Dad's books.
Yeah, it wasn't the Knights Templar, but that's the first thing I thought when I saw that cross.
The lost city of Kitesh, said to have disappeared in Siberia sometime in the 12th century. Legend says that on the eve of the invasion by the Mongol horde, it sunk beneath a lake.
What does this have to do with the Prophet's artifact?
The same symbol.
Lara!
If the divine source is hidden in the ruins of Kitesh, waiting to be found, then I have to go.
To Siberia? Are you kidding me?
It's cold!
If this thing could really unlock the secret of immortality, it would change everything. Sickness, suffering, death, gone.
Are you listening to yourself?
Jonah, we've been through so much together. You know there's more out there. This could be real.
I don't care if it's real. I've lost too many friends. I don't want to lose you too.
Dad never made the connection to Kitesh. He gave up everything for this.
Including you. Stop blaming yourself for what happened. He made his own bed.
I can't give up on him. Not now. It's all I have.
No, it isn't! If you stayed still for 5 minutes, maybe you'd see that.
I mean, it's not like any of the other characters from the previous game are gonna show up here, but they're still around, damn it! Oh, and me too. Perfectly honest, after playing up to episode 10, I can't even remember what the other characters in the previous game were called, the ones who survived. I know the Scottish guy was Grim, because it was just a really funny name, but... And it was, Whitman was the trader doctor. And Roth, obviously. But the two characters who survived, in addition to Jonah, I can't remember their names, I'm so embarrassed. Anyway, yeah, now we have a random street mugging, or sorry, street mugging, freaking burglary going on here. Really should keep a tighter lock, Lara.
Lara! Holy shit!
Is this what England's always like? God damn!
Stop! Drop the book!
Don't make me candlestick you, brah!
You can't stop us!
He should just be on the ground, covered in glass shards at
Shit,
this
Lara.
point.
What are we gonna do?
Oh! Oh! I'm sorry! Oh!
If the divine source is real, we've got to find it first.
Oh, so that's why Trinity is at the same time. I was kind of... One of those things I was wondering was like, you know, how Trinity conveniently finds Kitesh at the same time as Lara. But it's because they were kind of leeching off of Lara's work. For example, when that guy just stole that book. And that's how we got to this point. There we go. So, in hindsight, that was a fine in medias res opening, since we dealt with the how we got here super fast. So I'm okay with that. But now to get to the meat of the matter.
I made it to shelter.
Jonah?
And in hindsight...
Jonah, if you can hear me, go back. Please don't try to find me.
And in hindsight, the whole Syrias segment seems like a really nice throwback to the older Tomb Raiders, which were really like, you know, globe-trotting, because to find the treasure, you always had to do crazy treasure hunts all over the world. It was kind of crazy how far sometimes you traveled. Like Tomb Raider 3, where you had to go to South Africa and Area 51 and England and... No, not South Africa. What am I talking about? Where the heck did you go? It's not South Africa. The place with the dinosaurs. That wasn't like Polynesia, wasn't it? Oh man, I remember really poorly. Suddenly Tomb Raider 3. I'm a bit embarrassed. Anyway, that was like... So, even though this reboot... The previous game was in only one place, and this game is really focused on Siberia with its amazing snow effects. Like, the way the snow piled, it really looks like actual powder snow in real life, how it would behave. I mean, it's a bit limited, Lara's steps and reactions. it's not perfect, but the way the thing pools under your steps really looks like the way loose snow would do in real life. I'm so stunned by deep snow in this game. It's really impressive. Anyway, so even though this game also is really focused on Siberia, like the beginning in Syria kind of is like a throwback to old Tomb Raiders, where you have to find clues all over the world to be able to find out the final location of the treasure. That's how I feel, anyway. Okay.
Okay. Got to start a fire.
Just gotta start to hurry up with this because, oh boy, we're gonna be a popsicle pretty soon. Hypothermia is not nice. So, unlike the previous game, there is some resource collection in this. Not a whole ton. It's not a really deep survival game. And I'm actually kind of thankful for that. I've gone on the record as I'm terrible in those kinds of games. So if we were in like don't starve level survival things, I would never finish this game. It would be too hard for me.
That's my work.
But you absolutely do have to get some items.
Not enough to last the night.
Well, first of all, at this part of the game, it's just to like this is like plot stuff to get the camp done. But you can use plant matter, animal hides, rocks you find to build various like ammunition for like arrows or to build like equipment. Oh dear. That's about enough adventure for us. There we got like animal horns, we got animal skins. Apart from building the camp, or building our camp in this story part, we're gonna be able to use all of that stuff to like manufacture equipment later on.
Damn it.
So it's a bit like finding the parts in the previous game, except like now you find generic items to build your upgrades in this one. Oh boy, starting a fire in this condition, that's gonna be an interesting challenge. Fortunately, by the power of scene transition, we don't actually have to see how Lara did that. But damn, look at how cozy that hut is. She really put the extra effort into it. And apparently didn't bother to warm herself before she started working on that. Like, that seems a bit bad idea, but
The artifact is here. We'll find
yeah, Constantine's still here.
the remnant. They continue to resist us, but we'll have the situation in hand soon enough.
Good. Trinity has faith in you.
Trinity.
I still don't know who that character is, the mysterious voice, even with my foreknowledge of this game. I haven't played that far. Unless it's another character being voice modulated, but I really doubt that. Like that seems unlikely. And there's this convenient bow parts right here for us to get our bow working. Alright. We've reached pretty much where the episode 2 originally ended. But
Looking an old enemy in the eye.
I'll talk quickly about the alternate outfits and
die. But I won't. I can't.
now you saw a bunch of items being made available.
Trinity wouldn't be in this snowy hell. I just hope that Jonah is okay. That he found a way back.
Oh yeah, Lara still gives tons of
I
these
just couldn't
diary
risk
entries.
having him with me.
They're
Not
nice.
again.
They're all right.
The pain of losing him, that would be too much to bear. This is my path, and mine alone.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, we got a bunch of DLC stuff there. Unfortunately for some, fortunately for me, because I really don't care about them. We can't actually use any DLC weapons like the shotgun or the rifle we saw until we've unlocked that weapon type. So we only have the bow right now, which apparently doesn't have any DLC bows in this game. But you can see here, like, you know, this needs 3 wood, 3 animal hides to get reinforced limbs, the first upgrade. Might as well do that. Yeah, we've reached pretty much where I got in the game, but I'll show you how this menu works in a shorter time than my first time when I was just exploring this for the first time, to give you guys an idea of how it works. This is the equipment upgrade area we got going on here. Like I already explained, you see the items you need, you find this stuff in the world. You can hunt animals for skins, you can collect wood from like little trees growing, leaves from like bushes and stuff. You can also find caches which will give you random loot. Sometimes which is like really rare. For example, let me see now. Well, no, this isn't a good example, but there we go. This like second tier waxed ring needs a boar skin. I haven't even encountered any boars yet in the game at the point I am, but the boars. But I've managed to get one boar skin because you find it in those survival caches. So those are useful. Let's see now. Here's the inventory. Like I said, here's the crafting of the ammunition and the other equipment. So not upgrades to weapons, but like general upgrades. And you can see again lots of interesting requirements. I'm not sure what that glittery skin there means. It might be like rare skins. I'm not sure what drops them specifically yet. I'm not familiar with that. But here, for example, you can see... Oh boy, that looks a lot like a bear. Oh boy. I sure hope a bear doesn't show up in a couple of episodes and be a huge boss fight. Furthermore, we got, of course, we have our skills, just like in the previous game. There's 3 categories. I don't remember, were there 3 or only 2 categories the first time? I think there were 3 in the first game as well. I don't remember the stuff I picked in what order in the previous episode, so there might be some discrepancies in the equipment I have and the stuff I've picked. Apologies for that. But if I were doing this for the first time, I would first go to Survivor, and I would want to take... I think I would take this one that gives you bonus XP, just because that's useful for leveling up. Seems like the obvious choice. I may have taken this one, because I know I have this one, which is you can reduce damage from falls by rolling when you land. I do have that, but I may have picked that up later, or first, I don't really remember. The last thing, I went on for like 3 minutes about this in my first encounter with this, but we have outfits in this game. Unlike the first game, the previous game, we have tons of outfits in this. And here's the problem. So most of these outfits I've actually gotten from the DLC, because I have the 20th anniversary edition. For example, this Sparrowhawk, which actually is my favorite of the DLC costumes, because look at that cool Lushanka she has. It's so cool. And this otherwise this rugged outdoorsman look. And then there are really weird costumes, like this like Byzantine era chainmail right here, which is like, that doesn't even make like story sense that Lara would just have that along with her. And then we have like really cool Spec Ops costume. Look at this. I mean, these are cool costumes, I'll give you that. And you can see they actually give you like bonuses, these suits. Reduces the delay before health begins regenerating when damaged, was the chainmail. The Sparrowhawk, non-predatory animal scare less easy, which would be great for me, because you'll see in the coming episodes I am terrible at catching animals with bow. And then we have like Lara's, the costume we saw in the London cutscenes. It's just Lara's casual wear, which is... That's not DLC, because there's... Or I don't think it's DLC, because there's no bonuses to it. But if we get in character for story purposes, this is a terrible thing to wear in a snowy wilderness. And finally, I just want to show this off. Check it out, from Tomb Raider 3. It's Lara's costume from the end of the game in Antarctica, which is very close to the one we have in this game. I'm surprised that they're actually so similar. There's something about this one I actually like a bit more, which is why I've played so far with just this costume. So, in coming episodes, I'll be explaining this a lot more in detail, my problem, but just to sum up here is, I don't want to use... It feels like a bit of a cheating to just use a DLC costume, and for story purposes it feels weird that I just have these costumes with me. Not that that's a huge problem, but it does like kind of get on me a little bit. But more than that, the fact that you get bonuses for wearing these, and I haven't done anything for these except... Well, not even pay extra, because I bought this game super cheap on a sale. But in theory, I paid real-life money to get them. It feels like cheating to me, which is why I don't like these. And as I found out in episode 9, you can actually get new costumes in the game, which to me is a lot more like, okay, you've earned this costume, feel free to wear this one. Although I am not making any judgment on if anyone else, like, however you want to use your money, that's cool. And I'm not saying this is even a bad thing, necessarily. I haven't studied. There's a lot of shady DLC practices going on. I haven't studied how shady Square Enix was with this one. Maybe it was just standard, here's some extra costumes DLC, which doesn't really offend me. I'm fine with that. If people want to put money on that, that's fine. I've bought a couple of micro DLCs in my life because I had a couple of like coins left in my Steam wallet, and I was like, I'm never gonna find any other use for this cash. So I understand the feeling. And but no, personally, I don't want that advantage for myself, at least not on my first playthrough, which is why you'll see me using this jacket a lot more. And I think I already talked everything, so I'm going to be repeating myself in a couple of episodes, but in episode 5 I go on a bit longer about me and my thoughts about DLC, since that seems like a pertinent time to go into it. But, there we go. Everything's better. Hopefully I won't futz up the editing on this episode. We've covered up lost ground. Apologies again for the disaster that was the original episode 2, for all of those of you who happened to catch that episode. In the next episode, again, it's going to be weird. You'll find me be completely clueless. For example, there might be a bear coming, and I have no idea when that's going to happen, even though I totally know right now that there's a bear about to show up. Look forward to that, guys. But I hope you understand. This was the best way to fix my little mistake that happened. In any case, if you watch this, I appreciate that. Especially if you tried to watch the previous episode and were like, this sucks. If you came back to watch this, I super appreciate that. I hope this was an alright making up for that. And I will catch you in the next episode. Goodbye, guys.